Greetings to our viewing audience. This is Miko Evans and
Andi Monroe.
you're getting ready to see a new episode of Meak Pro Media Special Edition News. What's going on out there to our viewing audience? Of course, this is the executive producer of the world's first LGBTQ exclusive talent agency and production company, Miko Evans, right here with another new fabulous episode of Meak Pro Media Special Edition News. And guess who I have in the studio? In the studio. Her first in the studio. They first in the studio interview. I'm still getting used to the correct pronouns.
But you did it.
Andi Monroe is in the building.
Hey, everyone. Glad to be here. Yes, Andi Monroe, they, them.
Yes.
With Miko Evans, he, him.
Yes.
The legacy, the legendary.
And you know what? I want to also thank you for showing what it means to have grace and patience, because especially when it comes to the new pronouns of they, them, theirs, a lot of us are still getting used to that. Because once again, we've been so indoctrinated with the traditional stuff, and many of us just started to get comfortable with using the correct pronouns with the trans community, both trans women and trans men. And so now with the non-binary thing, all right, like this is just the next process that we have to go through. But people like you who have grace, who have patience, I think that's what helps us get it together. And I want to thank you for that.
Oh, that's so generous of you to say. I think that pronouns are something that it feels almost dangerous to try new ones for. A lot of people got popped in the mouth if they didn't do sir or ma'am in the South.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people I know, if they heard the wrong pronoun related to them, it could be so hurtful. So to be daring and to say something that's outside of your instinct, that's something that you've worked so hard to make sure that you just assume properly. It takes a lot of, I commend everyone on the flexibility and the commitment to being able to see people as they're representing themselves, as they have a fuller understanding of the way they show up in the world. Because it really takes all of us, right? It takes those who say, hey, here's who I am, and people who say, hey, I see you, and let me work with my current knowledge to grow to be able to acknowledge you the way that you are.
Absolutely, absolutely. What I love about you being in the studio is people who have seen our recent broadcast shows with Andi Monroe, their first interview with us back during the spring quarter of our 15th anniversary season, which is, by the way, last year's spring quarter was like the best season we've had in years. And I mean, with your interview, Gabrielle Claiborne, shout out.
Do we have Dave Ham?
Yeah, Dave Ham.
Wonderful person.
We had a couple of others. Of course, we had Dr. Helmut.
Yes.
Had him. His was a two-part interview. Gabrielle's was a two-part interview. And then shout out also our new Mr. Meak Productions 2024 through 25. Joe Adorno, we first introduced him during the spring quarter of the, last year. So I want to give a shout out to all of you all that made our spring quarter like one of the best.
Such good energy. Such good energy.
Most viewed.
Most viewed.
Most viewed. Yeah, because I know a lot of people most viewed. And then shout out to Dr. Elijah Nicholas, because I know his show was one of the highest for the summer quarter. So yeah, want to give a shout out to all of you all. So a lot of people already know sort of about your background, but a lot of people don't know your newest position with the Out Georgia Business Alliance. The state of Georgia's only LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce that's associated with the National LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce based in Washington, D.C. So you came on board with the Out Georgia Business Alliance what year?
In 2022.
Wow.
So I came on board in May, and I, I
Did
had,
you start off as just as a volunteer, then actually got brought on as a staff member?
I started as a coordinator, so they just had a very small role where they were interested in help in coordinating events and tying things together. Not a huge amount of time a week, but enough time that you could make some meaningful community connections and get programming in place. And I had just gotten to a place where I was so set on creating my own work. I was in this little serene place mentally where I was so excited and so focused. And then a dear friend, Chip Ivy, who you know also from the chamber, who's been in real estate here for I think 30 years, which I don't know if he wants me to say that.
Shout out to Chip.
Shout out to Chip. Chip slid that my way, and I just said, "Oh no, it's a dream come true." So I was so excited about it. I went through the interview process. I remember after the interview, I just turned off my inbox because I said, well, that was fun. I met someone who was really some work that was happening. I met someone who was doing things that I care to do that feels good. And then I checked back and I had gotten it and I had not thought. So I had to write back real quick and say, oh, hey, sorry for the delay. I had no idea. So just an honor. I was not sure that me and my they them pronouns, sometimes people will already know people and already have an idea of who's going to have a job. So for that opportunity to come through, it meant so much. So from there on out, I got to be at the Braves for a summit, which was great.
Yes,
And
that was
then-
your first summit, right?
First summit, and then got to be very involved in planning the Atlanta City Hall.
Wow.
Community honors, and then sort of my commitment just grew and grew where there was a change in part-time to full-time in 2023, and then we just continued doing programs, and we were at the Fed and did the summit, and then it just kept going from there. And I just fell so in love with everyone here. I was so impressed by all the innovation and a lot of the things that I had been missing because I had worked in the arts in queer spaces throughout my 20s. I saw where it was still alive and well, and some of my feelings about some of the changes, because I know we all know that like the bar and the club scene in LGBTQ plus Atlanta, it's really changed. A lot of things have closed.
Absolutely.
And some of my heartache there really it turned into not that it's peace, because we still need spaces, but I was so glad to see community was still thriving outside of the places that I had seen people connect and have meaningful communities. So
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of the challenges that you've seen in actually being a part of Out Georgia and stuff like that. What were some of the challenges that you saw that you knew that, hey, we need to go ahead and start working on this, we need to go ahead and start working on that, especially someone that represents the non-binary community? Let's get into that.
well, what thrilled me was Gabrielle Claiborne, who you mentioned earlier, along with Chris Lugo, had pushed through TGX 360, which is the Trans and Gender Expansive Initiative. And the work there was so specific to those in those spaces that's what opened the door to me applying. I thought, oh, there's room here, and there's a sophisticated network that is looking out for people. But the things that I saw immediately are there are some people who are already in a position that already have their systems set up, that already have the knowledge to conduct a business and just need contacts
Mm-hmm.
and just need contracts. But
Mm.
there is a great number of people who don't know what the entry point is. So breaking down those steps and also building a bridge for people like myself and the use of things like pronouns,
Mm-hmm.
which are a small addition that take a lot of thought but create an environment where people feel able to show up authentically, as Gabrielle Claiborne would say, as their full selves.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I also feel that with the next generation, and also with the next generation's relationship as it relates to corporate America, which is very important for many of us who are entrepreneurs and small business owners, to make sure that when we start to hire staff, when we start to bring in that labor support, that we meet people exactly where they are,
Yes.
especially since the current administration wants to push what meritocracy is so much. Okay, we're going to see how much merit you really believe in. So,
And there are tons of people with merit that are inside these communities. One thing
mm-hmm,
we see is that where my generation had maybe 10% of folks that acknowledge themselves to be a part of LGBTQIA plus community,
mm-hmm,
Gen Z is at 30%.
yes.
And
And
there
you
is
know, with
no
my generation,
way
it was like lower, but
it was,
beginning to grow.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
starting from the baby boom generation, Generation X on up.
And
Yes.
it looks like it's been exponential. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like half and then it doubled.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're at like tripled.
Mm-hmm.
So the level of thought and sensitivity directly correlates to the access to talent.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to work with talented people. You want to work with people who are bringing new energy and have comfort in some of these new spaces like AI and all the various apps that really make business productive. So the least you can do is see the team members who show up to bring these talents to the marketplace. So it's good for business, it's good for everyone. The other thing that I really wanted to see happen very quickly for people was I wanted to see the sorts of education and enrichment opportunities for members extend across the state just using technology. I think that while we all have different feelings about the pandemic, we also know that everything was able to be conducted virtually,
Mm-hmm.
where we may not be able to, as a staff, currently it's me and two wonderful interns and an apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
But as the full time staff member, for me to get to all of these places, or even myself and a brilliant board team and a leadership team to get to all of the counties, it's almost impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But through technology, through outreach, through offering incentives that make sense,
Mm-hmm.
that's how we do it. I just had a conversation with somebody incredible yesterday who is very close to certification. So if you look at our new folks who are certified nationally, you'll see him on the list. And he was talking about how he didn't even know about the chamber, but
Mm-hmm.
when he saw that he could be certified nationally, either through the National Chamber for $899
Mm-hmm.
or become a member of the chamber and have that waived,
Mm-hmm.
it was a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
But we have the opportunity, having been in a background where I've worked for almost every kind of small business you can think of. Fitness, real estate, tech. There's been very few environments that I haven't spent time in. There's a lot of different practices that we could do to reach out, investing in our digital marketing, investing in making sure moments like these on camera, hey, are things that if you're in Vidalia, you can still see this.
Absolutely.
And I know that having a professional network where you can show up entirely is so important. It's something that's become one of the strongest convictions that I have personally. Having seen in our community, we see a lot of different stories with a lot of different outcomes. And I know that we know those who have the richest support networks. And I don't mean just monetarily, I mean just the number of people, the diversity of people, and the opportunities have opportunity to continue forward and to have a life that makes sense for them, that represents them, where we see people who have other outcomes that can be heartbreaking to watch, and that it's more common than it is inside of the mass population. And we want to see more of the stories include all of the options and all of the enrichment, because it also brings so much to our culture.
Absolutely.
So it's wonderful to get to interact with people that you see making those changes, and to get to nudge and offer and find new ways to make them happen.
You know what? On that note, we're going to take our only commercial break. And during this commercial break, you're going to get another throwback. You're going to see some scenes from one of the previous Out Georgia events that we covered. I don't know which one yet. I don't know which one, because, you know, we've done a lot. There's a lot in the archives. So, but there's some that has not been broadcasted yet. So we're just going to let you guess which particular throwback that we're going to show during the commercial break of one of Out Georgia's previous events. So, in the meantime, enjoy this commercial break, and when we come back, we have more with Andi Monroe. Stay tuned, we have more in short.
You're tuned in to Meak Productions syndicated shows. Don't go anywhere. We do have more in store.
Hey there, this is George Carlton, President of the Metro Atlanta Association of Professionals. Are you looking to expand your business, seeking employment connections, or want to grow your professional network but don't love traditional networking? The MAP is right for you. As Atlanta's first LGBTQ+ business association, we pioneered partnerships and networking with Atlanta's leading changemakers to help you connect authentically, in person and online, with people from diverse industries, identities, and histories. For more information about membership and being part of our legacy, visit our website at www.maapatl.org. Once again, that's mapatl.org. We look forward to connecting with you real soon.
Meak Productions is proud to be an official media partner for this organization.
check us out.
Thank you so much, and thanks out Georgia Business for inviting us tonight. So, my name is Michael Shutt. I use he, him pronouns. If I haven't met you, I'm the Southern Regional Director for Lambda Legal, the nation's oldest and largest LGBTQ civil rights legal organization that is 51 years old this year.
Yeah!
Out Georgia. I am also certified with the NGLCC. How many people in here are certified businesses?
Woohoo!
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Well, listen, y'all, I am also recently joined and so proud to be a part of the LGBTVE Chamber of Counsel. So we will talk about it. So the things that we are preparing are three areas we're focusing on.
Champion diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts focusing on advancing support for historically underrepresented communities, specifically the transgender, non-binary, and gender-expansive communities. Gabrielle also spearheaded the TGX 360, an economic empowerment initiative for Georgia transgender people. The panel leader is Mr. Gomez. Your presence and support tonight are a testament to the strength and unity of our community.
And we are back right here with a new episode of Meak Pro Media Special Edition News with our in-studio guest,
Andi Monroe.
Andi Monroe. We just had a wonderful conversation during the first half, so let's talk about, and once again, for those people who are interested in joining the state of Georgia's only LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce, the Out Georgia Business Alliance, please visit all of the information that's located at the bottom of your screen, www.outgeorgia.org. Once again, that's outgeorgia.org. Okay, right there in front of you. All right. Let's talk about you being elected as the interim executive director. And of course, the decision is still up in the air with the board whether you're going to be permanent or not. But until then, you've been handling things. You've been handling things.
Thank you, love.
So, while you're handling things, how did you feel when you got, selected as interim executive director, and what's in store for 2025 for the Out Georgia Business Alliance?
That's a great question. So it was a complicated joy, not complicated in the way I feel about Out Georgia, but complicated in that I had considered working with the folks at Lambda Legal. I love the Southern Regional Office. I love Michael Shutt. It was a great
Shout out to Lambda
Hey,
in the
Lambda,
house.
and all the great work that you're doing. And I had to take a step back and really take a consideration because I get a lot of joy from support. I think that's the strongest quality. Every time I take one of those business personality tests, the leading thing is always my interest and investment into support. And I thought back and I thought about what would a stronger opportunity be to support the community than to take a role that is essentially centering all of the great work that I get to see. I'm not somebody that's really excited for spotlight. I have a background in performance, so I can be comfortable there, but I was much quicker to turn into a producer and a director and an editor and somebody who is putting together content. So to be the person who is the content was something that I really had to think about. And I come from sort of a merger of those two worlds. I was born in upstate New York, and in the town I was born in, my grandmother was the first female mayor. So she was, we're talking
That's
like
legacy.
She was incredible. And she was a spitfire. She had been an only child growing up in Brooklyn, New York in the 30s. She was unstoppable, and I greatly admire her. And then on the other side, my grandparents are German immigrants, and my grandmother is my favorite person in the world, but she's like 4'9" and worked a sewing factory to get her husband over so they could start their life, and still grows vegetables at 90, but is not a person who is like, she is the backbone of things, but she's not the person who comes to the camera. She's just the person who holds everything together. And when I thought about that, I thought, there's so much virtue in the legacy both of them have set. And I know for my grandmother, who was the first female mayor of North Syracuse, I know that was a position where she had to defy gender in a way. So if I'm having to step into a role where there are gender expectations that I don't have a cookie cutter match to, it's been done before.
Yes, it has.
And it's been done in a way that I respect, that changed my life. So I am just so grateful for the opportunity. I am so enamored with the members and the people out there who have work we haven't heard of yet, and putting people in a room and getting them to be each other's sales team, as we often talk about at the Business Exchange Network. That is something that I feel such reverence for and such enthusiasm about. I'm thrilled. I know it's interesting when you've had your own business before to take the level of entrepreneurship to a nonprofit space, because it does require that. So there are some weeks, like the event weeks that I shared before, those can be a 92-hour work week, because things need to get done, and sleep is not one of the things.
Take it from somebody who's been a solo entrepreneur and had to produce his own events and stuff like that with no help. You know what I'm saying? I had to wait till certain folks get here and say, hey, can you help with this? Can you help with that? You know what I'm saying? So, and then we have to be the ones to be here real early to make sure that, okay, since we having to do this by ourselves, okay, let me go ahead and get all of this set up so many hours in advance, or either the night before, if the building that we're going to be at allows us to do that, and that helps so much better.
If they let you in early.
Okay. Sure enough, that's so much better.
And thinking about the way that you're going to ask people and the things that you're going to ask of people, and how you can be considerate and make sure it's giving them something that's meaningful to them. It's a lot of consideration, but just the way it comes together, I love when we're in the room and we can just feel the energy. Community honors last year that we were really honored by Paul Conroy had us.
Shout out to the Outfront Theater Company.
One of a kind, a community center, someone that always is so generous with space. If you ask soon enough, so please don't take that to mean the calendar is open. But just seeing everyone in the room, it almost felt like, and I know it was around the holidays, so it felt like, at the end of the Grinch, where Christmas is gone, and they still get together and hold hands and sing songs, and it's not about being in a palatial space or having, this wild amount of material. It's about having each other and a community and something to celebrate. It feels so special to be in that space. So I love it, and I get to work with incredible people like Danielle Bonanno, who runs Inclusive Recovery Athens, is our president, and she is just so great at going and getting things done in a way that's direct and keeps the momentum up. And it's also really lovely to be in a TGX-led space, which I don't know of another chamber in the country that is in that position. So all of the steps that have been laid for us by folks like Gabrielle, Dr. Elijah, we're surrounded by great folks, also wonderful board members like Nathan Regan, who works for Google and helps us, process things and reach out to companies in a way that represents our community, but still asks for the things that would be helpful. And we have a great treasurer who runs a great nonprofit, Joey Tripp, and we have Charles Hicks as a secretary, who is an attorney and just one of the kind of people who you just watch Charles blaze trails, and it's unstoppable. And the best media partners. And the folks at the BXN doing a great job getting people together week after week with Bruce and Ariel and Sergio and Liz and Ludi. It's just a really great time to be a part of this community because there is so much that you can do. And what I am very set on doing is making a lot of the things that enrich a professional's life so that when we come together, we have things to talk about. We're growing in ways that are helpful. I would love to see that people have access to the opportunities. For example, some people are going to have to make changes in the administration that we're in based on huge shifts that have happened on day one. Well, there's a Grow with Google program where you can get certified in things where people will take you with a certificate and it counts the way a 4-year degree is, and it's waived through your membership. And I know personally, another person that I love very much who used to lead the TGX 360 initiative, took those courses, got into project management, flipped a career from nonprofit where, you know, like the salary was not matching his needs, and is now involved in production as a project manager, like basic liaison to the Department of Transportation. With a solid salary, benefits, like the opportunities, the roads I have seen paved. I'm so excited to see people able to walk them. Same thing with, I know it's going to be competitive out there, but you can get your certification and be NGLCC certified to have a national certification and have access to supplier diversity and a group that's looking for that. We have 129 NGLCC certified businesses, national certified businesses in Georgia. I think that's one of the highest numbers in the country. That's a great resource. As well as things like, for me personally, given my video background, with a little help from our friends, it's my goal to take the great summit sessions that we see and to create a registry of master classes. So if you aren't able to meet programming, say you work at, and you can't, either you work in the day or you're at night and your schedule is off, you can log on anytime and you can still get the edifying, helpful content that's going to take you to the next level with your career goals. So, and of course, all of the networking and the time together. We're moving Fourth Friday to Thursdays because people want to be home on Friday.
And instead of Fourth Friday, it's going to be Fourth Thursday.
Well, and we're thinking about Third Thursday, so hey. It's likely that first one in February will be the last week since February's short anyway. But then it's going to be Third Thursday, and we've got an opportunity to party on the bus with the folks that do rock and roll trip.
Rock and roll trip in the house.
Karaoke party on the rock and roll trip. We'll get to be with you here to do a media makeover session in March and celebrate your excellent years of entrepreneurship. Is it really how many I think it is?
It's 30 years.
Oh my gosh.
February 10th, 2025 will be 30 years because I always go by the first year that I got my business license, which was February 10th, 1995.
That's amazing.
I was still staying in public housing then.
Wow.
When I was in my early 20s, yep. So
but you were getting it done.
Yeah, I always remember your humble beginnings. I'm telling every entrepreneur, always celebrate your business anniversaries, your entrepreneurial anniversaries and stuff, because that's a tool of encouragement for you. There's an old gospel song that says, sometimes you got to encourage yourself. And so I celebrate my anniversaries and stuff as a tool and as a way to keep me going, especially during periods of slow, you know, because, you know, in small businesses and entrepreneurship, you have your highs and you have your lows, and you're going to have those things consistently until your business gets to the point to where it's like this, and then you just levitate. As Erykah Badu says in one of her songs, I want to jump up in the air and stay there. Yes, ma'am.
And
yes,
that's what we want. We want a bunch of people who
Yeah.
are floating. And then the people on the ground can see and say, hey, how do I get there?
Mm-hmm.
And then we don't just say, good luck. We say, here is the fence.
Here's
Here
the
is the
fence.
ladder.
How can we support?
Here is your escalator.
Yes, yes. So, I noticed that you all already have scheduled the signature events
Yes.
for 2025.
Yes.
So, kind of give us a little spiel on that before we close out the show.
So on very soon, February the 6th, we're having the kickoff at Atlanta Midtown Art Cinema. It's a privilege to be there. Out on Film celebrates there.
Out on film. Da, 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 da.
We love you, Out on Film.
Love y'all.
So we're going to go there also. You know, that's the start of my world with the film degree. So it's just great to get everybody together. We're going to go over programs. We're going to share with you the resources that we have and what we're looking for and opportunities where you can connect to the things that you have a deep resource base in. So the chamber greatly appreciates you, whether you're a member or not yet. There is room for you at the kickoff.
Yes, it is.
On February 6th, starts doors at 6. Then we are going to immediately open up for sessions for our summit. The summit is back at the Atlanta Federal Reserve. Our generous hosts, they are going to bring us in on Thursday, April the 10th. We're going to have a great day of programming. I've already got a couple of submissions. We're going to celebrate the ingenuity and the excellence of the community. It's still the largest LGBTQ plus business summit in the Southeast, which is exciting. And we also have some opportunities in October to connect with our friends at the LGBTQ Institute. The week before leading into Pride, we're going to have some other opportunities. And we'll have more detail on that as we get closer to it. But we want to make sure that both in the spring and in the fall, you find a little bit of time to connect with those who are on the same road as you. Then we will have later on in the year, we already have a date on the calendar for community honors, but there has been some suggestion that there are some opportunities to be a little more glamorous. So we have a wonderful place to be to celebrate our 31st anniversary in July.
Okay.
We will make sure that we keep everyone posted as things develop there.
Awesome.
The main thing that I am thrilled that we're going to get to do is we are building a calendar that can highlight and uplift all of our partners' great work too. So we want you to come back to Out on Film the last week of September, the first week of October. We want to see you at Lambda Legal's gala event in August. We want to see you at all the prides across the state in June. And we really want to see you at Pride in October. The year is already so full of talent. We're taking the places that people are coming anyway and finding ways to lift it up for business professionals and make sure that they are getting the connections they need. Or if they want to become a business professional that's a part of our thriving community, they have the access point.
That's going to be fabulous, darling. Fabulous, darling. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Andi, for everything that you not only have done, but everything that you're doing, everything that you're going to do. I'm very excited about what's in store under your leadership for right now. With the organization, and for those people, once again, that would like to become a member of the state of Georgia's only LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce, all of that information is located at the bottom of your screen.
You can always just email me. I'd love to have a conversation with you at info@outgeorgia.org. Again, that's info, INFO, at outgeorgia, spelled out. .org.
And they're also located, of course, on IG and, of course, on Facebook, which is, of course, Out Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. You know, hey, been with y'all for long enough now. I know it by heart.
You do. It's a hallmark of a good media partner.
That's
so.
right. And for those of you who are already members and would like to actually have your spotlight feature here on our show, please do not forget to check out all of the information that's located at the bottom of your screen. Want to give a shout out to all of the previous Out Georgia members who have been guests on our show, such as, of course, the fabulous Gabriel Claiborne, Dr. Elijah Nicholas, David Ham,
Yes.
Adiel Reyes, who was
Yes.
part of our holiday show on last year. They helped to close out the year. That episode was fabulous and stuff. So, I think we got a couple of other members of Out Georgia to feature on our show. I also want to give a shout out to Rock and Roll Trip. They had a chance to have a brief feature on our show during the summer quarter and stuff. So thank you all so much, and we're looking forward to featuring more right here on Meat Pro Media Special Edition News. Love you, Andy.
Happy 30.
Yeah! See y'all next episode.